恭喜发财，新年快乐, Happy New Year, everybody. We are entering the year of the fire horse. What does it mean for the equity markets? What does it mean for your bank stocks? What does it mean for your real estate investment trust for this year of the fire horse? Understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the fire horse is characterized by a very important explosive, transformational, and powerful traits. Things that will actually move markets and transform market before even you realize it. Now, even before we enter the year of the fire horse, you already see certain sectors shaking. You can see the software sector has been hammered, mesmerized, ameliorated, as well as the tech sector have taken a substantial correction, as you can see from the charts there. And if you have been following us in our classes and in the media, this is exactly what we're following. But my you, ladies and gentlemen, as powerful, as transformational, and as epic as it can be, you can see that it has given rise to new sectors which we have pointed out to you in our classes. That is the movement up of utilities, materials, and industrials. So for those of you who are worried about concentration in the stock market, we have told you since last year that is not something that you should be worried about. But what are the things that you need to worry about in the year of the horse? This is exactly what we want to cover in our this week's video. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, the mind and the body must resonate. The mind must be able to do what the body wants, and the body must be able to do what the mind wants. And this is exactly how you prepare. Explosive, powerful, and transformational. That's what you need to do to prepare for monstrous move in the stock markets. In my last video on Singapore banks, I've already showed you on 23rd of January the monstrous move of 5% in UOB share price when it actually surged to $39.50 in a single day. This, once again, if you have prepared for it, for this monstrous move, you would have kept it. And that's why all the more reason you have to keep your body and your mind strong, powerful, resilient, and transformational. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, in the year of the horse, this kind of transformational moves are not surprising because essentially 60 years ago, the last time when we had a fire horse, it was characterized by transformational changes. 1966 was the movement of the Mao Zedong cultural movement. Look how it ended badly after 10 years. And then, if you do you notice and know that actually it was in 1966 that the first ATM was actually ever invented? Funny, right? And guess what? 1968 was a year in which men landed on the moon as well. But it's not the moon that we're talking about. It is the sun over here for investors that we're talking about. And in this case, ladies and gentlemen, you've been following us in the media as well as attending our classes. We pointed out to you last year that we think that one transformational move that will change things is the fact that OCBC will outperform DBS Bank, the incumbent. And true enough, ladies and gentlemen, look at this chart. As what we have predicted and foretell you, essentially, OCBC Bank has outperformed DBS Bank by as much as you can see from this chart. Then basis points. Understand that when the move comes, the cusps of transformation in the horse here is such that it will be so powerful, so explosive, and so transformational. That's why you need to prepare and keep yourself strong to actually enjoy such moves. In real estate investment trust, I've already pointed out to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the big cap REITs are poised to benefit because of impending interest rates continuous cut into this year. Now, if you look at my last few videos, this is exactly what I've said, and this is exactly the breakout babies from your Maple Trees to your Capital Land Ascendants, your Capital Land Integrated Commercial Trust, which is such a fantastic almost 20% since our last video, and Fraser Sentiment Trust. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this video is not about recommending or investment advisory, but in fact, it's just to share my personal experiences as well as actually some of my personal portfolio, as well as what we have been teaching and telling our GCP global investors. Now, since young, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's me. Ha ha ha. In previous horse years, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that one of the key things I wanted to do is to make money at a very young age. And yes, true enough, I managed to make enough to retire at the age of 40. But in this interview that I've given to Sunday Times, yes, this was way back in 2000 when I made my first few millions on betting on the crisis on 2008 turning around. There was actually a Citigroup and my stake. And I've basically shared with you in my book on making millions in real estate investment trusts. I've told you that essentially one must have a prepared mind. And in this explosive, epic year and transformational year where moves can be very powerful, as we saw in Singapore banks, I think Singapore Real Estate Investment Trust, already we reckon that a couple of breakout babies are going to happen. We have highlighted, for example, in our last video, that United Hampshire REIT, the mid cap REITs, that's the next category of REITs or real estate investment trust that we reckon that will take the metal road from here, is going to surge. The fire horse represents unstoppable energy, as fire amplifies the horse's natural vitality and strength and bold decisions. So essentially, as investors, we have to latch on this explosive, unstoppable energy because the momentum that carries forward from the horse, forward movement and charging will be amplified many a times, as you can see from the explosive move in UOB share price and OCBC share price that we shared and highlighted and pre-warned you, which is the most important. All right. Then, if you also understand that it is the nature of a horse, especially a fire horse that comes once in 60 years to be a symbol of transformation. Now, this means that going after new changes that break old patterns and inspire innovative growth is what you should be looking for in stock picking for this current year in the year of the horse. So if I may, and I just want to share with you that many a times the things that changes fast are actually the things that really doesn't change that much. And if anything, I just want to share with you that in my stock position on Alphabet, which I accumulated 12,400 shares. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is my printout of my position at the end of the year last year, with my private bank, UBS Private Bank. 12,400 shares, which I bought, as you can see. The cost price over there, 115. This is exactly what I've shared in my videos in the last 3 years. Because I believe that essentially for you to become a multimillionaire and to be able to ride on stocks, buying good stocks with huge competitive moats, as well as for many other fundamental reasons, for example, like riding on the cloud growth with Google Cloud on Alphabet, as well as actually underlying things like, for example, the launch of Gemini and how it will displace, for example, the gaming industry, as well as the software industry, is embedded in the price. And that's why I'm holding on to this winner. Yes, you can see from the chart, you can see from my UBS private banking statement at the end of last year at the price at 312 closing for the year 2025. And my stake is close to $5 million from barely $1 million. So, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, in my book, Making Millions, you can actually make millions if you know how to invest well. But understand that when you actually want to 10x your investments, that is actually see your investments go up 1000%, you have to shut off a lot of noise. And that's exactly what we do. So we strengthen our body, we make sure and we understand the epic moves that are likely to come. We know what can be explosive, but we also know what to keep. Because I believe my stake in Alphabet, which currently stands at $5 million, can possibly reap me the next 10 million stock. Yes, look at my previous videos where I've shared with you my assumptions, that if Alphabet grows just 20% instead of 30%, as what they've been doing in the last couple of years, and if indeed the valuations of the big tech continue to remain at 24, 25 in the years 2030, 2031, Alphabet may squeeze past 600. And that's where my 10 million stake on 12,400 shares on Alphabet, bought at the same time 3 years ago in 2022 when I first presented to GCP Global investor students, because of the downturn in the market in 2022 is likely to hit 10 million. As usual, this is not a recommendation video. This is not even investment advisory. So share my position, but I just want to share with you online, so that you can understand and track my position rather than a lot of others telling you trade in and out, which I reckon and I do not share. That is a good measure of multiplying well. So if anything, come with us from 37 years of experience and hopefully good guidance. So once again, Happy New Year, great horse year. So remember, explosive, powerful, and transformational. Stay with us as we go through the new year, as we give you the other stock recommendations, and more importantly, as we are able to forewarn you on certain things. It's a pleasure once again. New Year, everyone. See you.